caliber, you're going to have to give up something to get something, okay? And the Cavaliers did give up some nice pieces who helped them last year and some draft picks. But from your end, we heard his side of things. When you found out that you were coming to Cleveland, what was your reaction?
It's funny, I was just saying over there, my agent called me. He said, "You're going to Cleveland," and then hung up. He said, "I'll call you back." And I'm like, "What do you mean you're coming back? Who's in the trade?" Like, he's like, "I'll call you back."
Right.
And he calls me back and tells me everybody who's in the trade and who's still here and who's not. And, you know, I got a lot of respect for Colin Sexton. I love Colin Sexton, his game. I love what he brings to the table. Lori and I were the same draft class. Ochai is going to be talented. But with the guys we have here, man, I'm so excited to play with Darius Garland and Evan Mobley, like them two especially, like that. They are a talented group. You know, I've known Jarrett for a while. He's one of the premier shot blockers. Rim protectors, can get his own bucket in the paint offensively. And you know, we like I said in the press conference, we look scary on paper, but ultimately we have to go out there and put the work in. But I'm like I said, I'm truly excited. You know, we have a lot of pieces that, you know, can be something special, not just this year, but for years to come. And, you know, we got to just go out there and put the work in.
When you change teams, obviously there's different things involved, you know, different offense, different defense. How does that reflect on your style of play or your game?
I think that's what works in a trade. I think when Kobe and the Jazz made that discussion, you don't get into a trade for a player unless you know you think it works. You know, you don't think it's going to go in a situation where it just goes the other way. You know, and I'm not a guy. I'm a guy who wants to come in and just find a way to help this group become even better. At the best, I won't even say at the best, but like, you know, at the best part of the last season was we were 3 seed, you know, and then obviously injuries happen, and you know, we all think about the loss, but you know, I'm in a situation where I'm like, well, let's look at where we were before the injuries and how can we find a way to build on that? What do we do to get to that? How do we stay there? What happened in camp? What happened during the season? What were those losses that we shouldn't have lost? That like those things, like that's where you address them. So for me, coming in, just finding ways to just be a help in any way possible, man, on the floor, in the locker room, just doing what I do, and also finding ways to make the game easier for others. You know, Darius, who, you know, averaged like 25 and 9 or whatever it was last year, and then to add spacing when I come on the floor, and the more amount of space he's going to have, amount of space Evan's going to have now. Jarrett finishing, K-Love, you know, when Ricky comes back, Vert, like so many guys, just being able to, the spacing I think will be huge as well, and just being able to add that to this team.
Soaking wet with talent, this team, but we're hearing a lot about the camaraderie already, right? And the chemistry.
Yeah.
How important is that at this level?
It's huge. You know, I think a lot of it at this level in the NBA, like guys aren't always happy for each other's success, and I don't see that. You know, I don't see that with this group. I see a group that genuinely wants to see each other succeed. Like, you know, and it starts with Darius as like the, you know, he was the leader. You know, and he's goofy, laughing, running around, and you know, Ev's kind of quiet, but you know, he's happy. Ev's as happy to see Darius succeed as Darius is to see Ev and Jared, and you know, it can go down the line. And that's just from me watching from afar. You know, now that I'm here and a part of it, you know, I see it and it's real. You know, in the locker room, and when it's time to do business, it's time to hoop, and it's time to get on the floor and play. And you know, I think that's something that I really respect about this group since I've been here for like a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Right.
But you know, you see it, and you wonder how last year happened from afar. You're like, man, how the hell did they get here? And then you get here and you're like, wow. Like, and you respect it, and I respect these guys, and I respect the work they've put in, and I'm just glad to be a part of this and continue to work forward.
Intangibles can be real sometimes. You were at the Browns game, they took on the Steelers. You got to bash the guitar before the game. So you see the fan base like
100%.
that. When you were an opposing player and had to come to Cleveland, you might have seen some of that, but the Cavaliers weren't playing the style of ball that we foresee coming this year.
Right.
How hard will it be for opposing teams, now that you know this, kind of what the fan base is going to be like, to come in here at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse and face Spida and the boys?
Yeah, it's going to be loud. It's going to be rowdy, man. And I think, you know, ultimately it's a testament to how dedicated and loyal the fan base is to us as a group, to us as a team, and to us as a city. You know, I tell people, like, I've been a Mets fan my whole life. We haven't won much. I'm still a diehard fan. You know?
Now, though.
Exactly. We're good now. We're good now. But I say that to say, like, before the 2016 championship, like, still sold out games. Still, whether it's us, it's the Guardians, it's the Browns. You know, that says a lot about a fan base. You know, it says a lot about the organization. And even in my 5 years, you know, my first few years, like, the Cavs weren't necessarily a playoff caliber team. And then you get to last year, and the fan base, the fan attendance from the eye was the exact same. The vibe was the exact same, and you couldn't tell this wasn't a team wasn't in the playoffs or a team was in the playoffs. And now to be here, the excitement level is high. We're all excited, but that's just, like I said, a testament to the fans and to the loyalty of these fans. And we got to go out there and ultimately do the work and put on a show and win some games, man, and make the playoffs and do what we got to do.
I'm a basketball junkie. I love the sport. I go way back watching it and everything like that. And one of the things I keep my eye on, okay, is, all right, regular season, that's one thing, right? Postseason's completely different. 100%. It's a different animal, man. I mean, most guys' scoring averages go down. Yeah. Yours goes up. You've dropped 50 twice in a playoff game. And watching this team lose to the Nets and the Hawks in the play-in tournaments, DG, a lot was on his shoulders. Yeah. They needed somebody else to create, help him take the pressure off. So that's why they went and they pulled this massive trade for you. What is it about the postseason where you're better than you are in the regular season when that's not the norm in the NBA?
I think the biggest thing for me is just understanding the game slows down. It's a mental game. You mentally dissect your opponent from the day you find out who you're playing. I like to say I'm probably one of the guys who watch the most film. I like to believe that. I've always been that way. Finding ways to create gaps, finding ways to get not just myself opportunities to score, but other guys opportunities to score. And obviously, like you said, Darius had to do a lot as far as creating for everybody. And like I said, just the presence of each other on the wing will create driving lanes and gaps, and not just for ourselves, but now the big has to help. Now you have J.A. or Ev on a lob. They have to come over and help. And now it's myself, it's Vert, it's K-Love shooting a three in the corner. Now you're running one of us off the line. Now we're in the paint. Now we're finishing. Like, there's so many different things and so many different ways we can manipulate the game in the playoffs. And for me, ultimately, like I said, the game slows down, and it's just a methodical game. And I pride myself on finding ways to be able to outthink my opponent. But ultimately, like I said, I won as many championships as they have. We haven't done any. I said we haven't done anything. We have to go out there and prove it and work and get better. And if it's not this year, it's next year. But continuing, I believe we play this game to win a championship, and that's the ultimate goal. And I think that's something that we really believe in our hearts that we can get to. We just got to go out there, and it starts with tomorrow. Laying the foundation now and hopefully playing into the end of June.
Donovan, what are your thoughts on the East? I mean, is it a different style of play, East versus West, when it all comes down to it?
I think it's more grit and grind on this side. I think, I don't know this would be a fact, but I feel like the scoring isn't as high. I think in the West it's more up and down, fast paced. But I think the scoring is more gritty. You look at Boston, you have Milwaukee, you have Miami. Those three teams alone are like defensive, powerhouses. And say you have us who were top 5 last year.
Sure.
Like that in itself says a lot, And then you have obviously Atlanta getting DeJounte, having DeAndre Hunter over there who can guard. Like, there's a lot of teams that Philly acquiring Daniel House, PJ Tucker, Thibault. And I'm just speaking from a defensive standpoint.
Right. Sure.
Like, you look at what they've acquired and what we are as a team here defensively. That plays a lot into it. And defensively, we're a top 5 team, and I'm looking to add and do my part and continue to uplift this team. But, it's ultimately going to come down to getting scoring tough buckets too. And, like I said, DG had a lot on his plate last year, so I'm looking just to make that easy for him, Ebb as well, and just to create space and make life easier and to be able to get in the paint. And also we got to get stops and run. We're young. We're one of the youngest teams in the East, if not the youngest team. And we got to run and get out and transition and turn our defense into offense.
Could a team like this adopt a Western style of play?
100%. I think we have the ability to do that. But like I said, we got to start with the basics. Start with the basics and laying that foundation. And like I said, at its best last year, we were a top 3 team in the East. And obviously certain things didn't pan out that way, and as the season progressed. But all right, how did we get here? And I think everybody in that locker room feels that. I'm coming off a first-round loss. It was probably my worst playoff series in my career. So we're all in the same boat as far as the hunger and what we're trying to prove. And I think we can definitely do that. But I think ultimately it's going to start with our defense and then leading into our offense.
You mentioned the grit, the grind, Louisville. Go back to those days, right? So how much is that going to help you in the Eastern Conference, reflecting back to your days with the Cardinals?
And Louisville's not too far either, so hopefully the Card Nation comes
fans,
out here. They definitely do. They typically do when we play out here and in Indiana, but that's ultimately what got me drafted. The scoring kind of just happened out of necessity my rookie year, and it just became something that I really became really good at. But for me, like that, I have the ability to do it. I know I want to do it. I put the work in to do it, and now it's time for me to go out there and prove it myself, but also with this team as well.
Yeah, dunk champion too, man. Don't
Yes,
forget
sir.
that, right?
All-star, only 26. I mean, you're so young to have accomplished so much so early in your career, and it's just it's amazing. It's a testimony to everybody here. They were able to work such a great deal and have you part of this franchise. We couldn't be happier. We talked earlier about the fans. What's your message to the fan base right now of not only the Cleveland Cavaliers, but maybe the entire league?
I think the biggest thing is we're coming, man. Like, we're a group that's hungry. We want it, and I think as a group, we want to win it. We believe we can, but like I said, it starts with us and putting the work in. And to the fans here in Cleveland, we're going to continuously put in work nonstop. You're never going to see that. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, but just stick with us because there's a long 82 games, and there's more games after that, and I don't think we're here to celebrate, a playoff berth. It's nice, but it's nice to get your first one over, which would be for a lot of these guys, but for us, it's much more than that. We have an end goal, which is to play in June, and, it starts with Tuesday, and hopefully it ends on June, whatever.
Right. We appreciate you. I know it's a busy day, man.
No
Media
worries.
day is crazy.
No worries.
And this is a new city and everything. Kenny and JT show. We're in Canton, Ohio, Hall of Fame city for
Yes,
football.
sir.
Who's
Yes,
your
sir.
football team was? Go ahead.
The Cowboys.
You're a guy.
That's all right.
Oh.
At least you didn't say Bengals or Steelers.
I will say though, like, Lamar and I came into school together, so Lamar Jackson's a big. I'm a big fan of Lamar Jackson. I know they're a rival of the Browns and whatnot, but big fan of Lamar
Can he hoop?
Jackson. Man, we used to have dunk contests my freshman year.
Really?
You and Lamar?
Yeah, me and Lamar Jackson used to have.
Really? So he's that good of an athlete all the way around.
He can get up. I don't know if he can. I mean, he probably can. But
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a while. But, we used to have dunk contests. The football team would come in the gym, and we start, like, at night, we start dunking and whatnot. So it's pretty crazy that we both ended up where we are. But with him, I had no doubt. With him, I had no doubt. But, yeah.
How cool was it at the Browns game to be a part of that?
That was nuts. That was nuts, man. First of all, I was stuck in traffic right outside the stadium for an hour. I had to, like, tell the cops, like, hey, I'm doing the coin toss. Can I get through here? Like, please. Like, just try to make some stuff up to try and get through. And fortunately, I was let through, and I was able to get to do the guitar thing. I almost missed it. Like, I was outside since 6:30. I had to be there at 7:15.
Well, it's new. We didn't even know what this thing was. They had done it the week before with Joe Thomas. They had you guys on there. They give you goggles.
Oh, so that's not normal?
No, this is new
what
this
is
year.
this?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
so I
had no
thought this
idea.
was
Second one.
I thought this was a last thing. Like,
No.
this was going back to, like,
Second time.
Second time.
I had no idea.
Hall of Famers to be Joe Thomas, and then you.
There
How
we
about
go.
that? That's
Hey,
not bad.
it's great company.
Only
Great
future
company.
Hall of Famers get to do that.
Yeah, there you
I don't know
go.
if you knew this.
Got
Donovan.
big shoes to fill.
That's
on that.
right.
Got big
You're
shoes to
getting
fill
there.
on that one. So.
Hey, Donovan, thanks for making time for us. We really appreciate it. We're thrilled. I was the Aussie. I told him we need somebody from beyond the arc, a shot creator, and I thought it was going to be Bradley Beal maybe, but he signed that huge deal.
Yeah.
And then we heard you were going to New York, and it's like, oh man, they're not going to get anybody.
He's like, no, they didn't. I said, yes, they did.
Yeah, and I was like, what?
You're not going to believe this. We were getting ready to sign off the air.
Yeah.
And I get the notification on my phone, and we were still working remotely due to the pandemic. He's at his home. I'm in the studio. I'm like, Cavaliers just signed Donovan Mitchell. You're not going to believe it. He thought I was lying.
I thought he was
called me a
pulling my
couple of
leg.
words.
Yeah.
And I can't repeat them on the radio. I said, no, he's coming, man. Spider.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Man, it's crazy how it happened, and life comes at you full circle.
Yes,
I was
it
a
does.
Cavs fan growing up, and here we are. So let's make something special, and let's get to it. So I'm excited.
Donovan, thanks for
happy.
joining us today on the
Yes,
Kenny and
sir.
JT Show. Much appreciated. Best of luck this season, all
I
right?
appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Donovan Mitchell checking in on the Kenny and JT Show. Stay with us. More from Cavs
luck.
Media Day right after this.